What's going on, everybody? It's your host, the Sports Moose. The channel is back, both on Facebook and YouTube. Of course, we're getting ready for week number 1 of NFL action. You know, that is the hottest action. That is when we love putting down our bets. Got a great show for you today, of course. Keep it short and sweet. Get your $10 parlay of the week. Get your Moose's Monster teaser. Of course, we'll go over some other picks that might provide you some value as well. All that and more. Feels good to say it for the first time this season. Let's hit that intro. That's right. Welcome back to another episode of $10 Sports Risky Business. Of course, I'm your host, the Sports Moose, bringing it back at you. Channel is active. Twitter is active. Facebook account is active. We're ready to go for not only the NFL season, but all the sports that come in fall. Things starting to look back to normal. NHL starting on time. Looks like NBA is going to have pretty close to an online start or an on-time start, and full schedules, I think, predicted for everybody and the NFL included, inclusive of the new game number 17 or week 18, I guess. 18 weeks now in the regular season for the NFL. Should be a little bit of chaos then, a little bit of chaos for sports bettors. Another week for me to lose some money, and we'll make sure to chronicle all that here on the show. So I know we're going to have a bunch of first-time viewers, second-time viewers, because they've seen us pop up on their feeds, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube. Hopefully we're getting some Twitch audience going. You know, the key to Facebook and YouTube is consistency. And as we kind of refocus here for the 2021 sports season, not even just NFL, the sports season, we're hoping to get some consistency. We're excited for a couple new shows, and we'll do another update video on all our channels on where we see some of our shows going. But for right now, the focus, of course, is on your money and on your sports betting here on $10 Sports. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Even have a fun little graphic to do that. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're hitting subscribe and hit that bell as well so you get alerted when we drop new content. Hoping to do so 2 to 3 times a week. Of course, got a couple new shows coming at you, and we'll have an update video on the channel later on. Let's get to it, to our bets, and let's talk about the big slate of games for week number 1. And I'll have to give it to the NFL. They put together a heck of a slate for week number 1. And I don't know if some of this stuff was done on purpose or if some of this stuff was just coincidence. I mean, absolute potential classic matchups here, beginning with, of course, the defending champs, my team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, taking on the Dallas Cowboys at home as they open up the 2021 season. So, of course, up above us, we will have what we're talking about, and it's week 1, the slate of games. Of course, we talked about the Bucs, 8.5-point favorites right now. Probably see that dropping a little bit as we get closer to the game. I know we're only a day away. I like the total 52. Hoping it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't have any of the Bucs on any of my picks though. But if I did, I don't know. I kind of like the Cowboys plus 8.5 here, and I'm leaning on the under. It's week 1. We don't want to get too crazy here, and I know the NFL and NBC would love for this to be an amazing shootout over 52. But I don't know. Bucks like to start a little slow. If I was betting on the Bucks game, it's going to be under 52, and I'd probably take Cowboys plus 8.5 at this point. I mean, really not too much value on going Bucks minus, what is it, 410 right now. Gonna throw $40 on there to win 10. I'm not feeling that right now, and neither should you. All right, let's get to the Sunday slate of games. Really not too many stinkers out there, but they start us off with one. But is it an undercover amazing game? And I think that's really where I don't know where I land, because I'm excited for of course Trevor Lawrence to get into the action, and the potential re-emergence of Tyrod Taylor on yet another team, named the starting quarterback for the Texans. Right now, Jaguars at -3.5. I think that line has shifted a little bit since we locked in our picks. So hopefully it looks like we lost a little bit of value there. I think some of our picks, not to spoil anything, locked them in at -3. Chargers at the Washington football team, I think, could be another potential sneaky good game. Really interesting, though. There's a couple West Coast teams that are traveling out to the East Coast for week 1. I don't know if that's, again, done on purpose. Yeah. Broncos part of that traveling. I think the 49ers and Seahawks are traveling. The Cardinals traveling. I think the Cardinals are traveling out east. And, of course, Chargers going to Washington, literally across the country. There are some West Coast teams making trips, and typically it doesn't go well for the West Coast team when they're playing 3 hours out of their element. You know, you could argue that a professional sports athlete is a professional sports athlete, and they're going to be trained to be ready to play at whatever time. I still think that body clock, especially if it's on the West Coast, is pretty big, could be a pretty big factor at least. Right now, that's gone down to -1/2 point for the Chargers. I took Washington football team +1 on this one. And again, we'll get to the full array of picks. Titans Cardinals has the potential to be a high scoring game. Right now, the over under is at 52 for that one. Potential sinker, Vikings Bengals. Joe Burrow is back in action. What Vikings team is going to show up, and what version of Kirk Cousins, more importantly, is going to show up? We just don't know. I guess we'll find out on Sunday. A semi-full strength 49ers team is back, hopefully for some vengeance. Might be taking that out on the poor Detroit Lions, now led by Jared Goff. I think maybe the game of the 1 p.m. hour, you had to pick one. Well, there's two to pick from. You know, of course, Bills Steelers, I think, should be pretty solid. Right now, the Bills at -6.5, -6.5. I think I probably take that. Honestly, this is probably a game I stay away from when we go over our don't even think about it list. But if you had to, if you're a Bills or Steelers fan, I think Bills -6.5 is the way to go. Though some up and coming talent on the Steelers, not to mention the return of Big Ben. So a little bit of stuff to ruminate on there. Mostly why it's on my stay away from list that we'll get to in a moment. Of course, the defending AFC champion Chiefs playing the Browns. Patriots Dolphins, I think, could be very, very intriguing as the Mac Jones era kicks off at Gillette Stadium. Broncos Giants, does Saquon make his triumphant return? Does Daniel Jones bounce back from a kind of a sophomore slump of a season there? Kind of a crappy season ended up being. And then, of course, Packers Saints, I think the game of the week on Fox. Rams Bears for Sunday Night Football, and Ravens Raiders. A little bit, couple duds there at the end. Fully expect the Rams to dominate the Bears, especially as we know QB1 being Andy Dalton, Red Rifle. And Ravens Raiders, something about that just doesn't get me excited. I think there is some potential underdog action here, but I wasn't brave enough quite yet to throw my money at the Raiders. So I think I left that one alone. I maybe felt a little bit more confident in the Ravens, but first game in a packed Allegiant Stadium, it's got to play into it. In fact, when you're looking at the money lines, odder favorites. I mean, there is some value here if you're going Raiders plus 167 to potentially straight up win. I mean, almost triple up your money there. All right, jumping to our picks. We going to our picks? No, the gifts. Jumping to our Vegas gifts. And really, it's week one, right? And I feel like week one is a little bit like whose line is it anyway, right? It's it's kind of the week where the points don't matter. We're making up the rules. We don't know what to expect from any of these teams. So it's kind of a wait and see, but really one game I felt confident in, though the line is shifting a little bit here, is really the Chargers at Washington. Taking Washington +1, that slid down to plus 0.5 only. So it looks like a couple people are jumping on that bandwagon. So maybe not feeling as confident. I was able to buy in at +1 though. So some value there. Fairly confident in the Packers Saints going over 50. Whether it's a Jameis Winston interception fest, maybe Jabu actually gets it into the hands of playmakers like Marcus Callaway, Alvin Kamara still there, of course Michael Thomas on the poop list, and then Atlanta -3 really was maybe the only surefire thing, despite me not really liking Atlanta much this year. I mean, that's a 6 to 7 win team this year. I don't know transactions in heavy detail, but I feel like they were kind of losers in free agency. So I think what they really have going for them is that Philly didn't seem to really exactly tear it up in the offseason as well. Still a big question mark with Jalen Hurts. The running game is also another question mark. Just really don't know what to expect from the Eagles. I think that's going to be another terrible division once again, 2 years in a row. Going to have the NFC Beast, potential 500 team getting into the playoffs once again. So we fully expect the Cowboys to win that division, especially if they retain a healthy Dak Prescott. All right. Jumping to our don't even think about it games, or don't even think about it games. You're looking at Tennessee and Tennessee hosting the Cardinals. Right now it's Tennessee -3 with an over under 52. That's a game I don't even want to touch. I hate talking about fantasy football, but a great example is just how high Kyler Murray went, how impressive he actually looked at some points of the year last year. And again, the expectations being so high for the Tennessee Titans. Does Ryan Tannehill take advantage of two absolute monster weapons? Julio Jones, of course, jumping over to Tennessee. A.J. Brown is still there. And you have the Tractorcito. You have Derrick Henry. No reason why the Titans shouldn't run away with this one. They've shored up on defense a little bit. But Arizona just has that weird X factor. They improved as a team. Another year in the books for Kyler Murray, that quarterback. Do they have the ghost of Christmas past with JJ Watt? I mean, who knows? They have an AJ Green ghost of Christmas past. First time that Larry Fitzgerald's not on the team. I just want to stay away from that one. Talked about the Buffalo Bills and the Steelers. -6.5 for Buffalo. I mean, if you held the gun in my head, I'm taking the Bills on that one. Over under 48.5. I think it's pretty fair. It's a pretty solid number put down by Vegas. And then Seattle at Indianapolis. That's, part of me wants to scream, this is a no-brainer. Seattle all day, every day, especially if the point values need to shift a little. Took it at the time of recording, Seattle -2.5. I'm not confident, especially from what we saw last year from the Seahawks. No true improvements or overwhelming improvements to the offensive line, which was a pressure point for Russell Wilson and the offense last year. I don't know. I mean, Colts defense was awesome last year. Overperformed for sure, and we expect a similar effort this year. I don't want to get into the Seattle game. Seattle's a team I gotta have some samples before I put money under the Seahawks name here. All right. Moving on to the official picks of the week. Official picks are up. I'm going to try my best to do like 10 picks. Some of them, of course, will have the $10 parlay there and available. And what really stood out to me is the potential for some, and I know Washington probably going to have its top 10 defense, but I think there's some potential for points here. Despite what I said about the West Coast traveling teams, I like Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler. I think that offense is ready to score some points. I don't know how many of those score against Washington, but the key factor is Ryan Fitzpatrick. They may have a competent offense. McLaurin kind of is a sleeper wide receiver pick in many circles out there. And Washington has a running game. I think this for sure is an over 44.5. I like the number. And Vegas has been doing this for years, right? 44.5, I think a pretty fair number there. I got 2 picks for the Jets and the Panthers. And I'm a little high on both teams. More so the Jets and the Panthers. Of course, with the Panthers being a division rival. But you have to acknowledge that if Sam Darnold is anything like the Super Sam that he was at USC, with some weapons actually at the wide receiver position, and of course, probably the best player in the NFL right now in Christian McCaffrey to alleviate some of that pressure, Panthers could be a sneaky good team. I don't know if they've got it figured out on the defensive side of the ball, but I think they could score some points. Taking the over 44.5 there, because there have also been improvements on the Jets side. No more Adam Gase. No more hyperdrive offense. No new quarterback in there. Thinking no Le'Veon Bell, no distractions. I think the Jets are going to be able to score some points and win some games. How many games? It's a great question. Definitely maybe under 6 or 5, but I think they can make some noise here. I do like them keeping it close, though. Again, kind of week 1, feeling it out. New quarterback, Sam Darnold. Definitely some, I don't know if animosity is the right word, but wanting to prove the haters wrong in the New York Jets organization. Definitely over 44.5. But I like the Jets to keep it close. Took the Jets 5 plus 5.5 on this one. And I'm calling for a good day in New York here. Again, Broncos traveling over to the Meadowlands, or whatever the new stadium's called, MetLife Field. Taking the Giants plus 3 here, even though the underdogs, they've been kind of quiet over the offseason. Daniel Jones has the talent. He has the talent. Saquon's back. They've upgraded a few components on the wide receiver realm of things. Defense is getting better. big question mark for the Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater. What to expect from there? Is their running game going to function? How's the defense going to be with Von Miller back from season-ending injury last year? Giants +3 is my pick. I talked about Atlanta -3, and then Baltimore -5.5. Really wanting to throw a Monday Night Football pick in there, though I could see that going wrong. I could see the Raiders not only keeping it close, but winning that game. But the $10 parlay picks are in. Let's do those. Talked about Washington +1, really big on that. I'm confident it's part of the $10 parlay. I'm going Jacksonville -3. Trevor Lawrence winning his first game with Urban Meyer on the road against the Texans. Kind of a dumpster fire game already. The dumpster fire game of the week really is what that game amounts to. But I like Jacksonville getting the job done in Houston. This is the one that I think is going to get me. Getting too fancy in week 1. I'm already believing in the Dolphins. Dolphins +3. I made this mistake so many times last year. I'm in on the Dolphins. Dolphins +3. Taking them with the spread. At New England, Mac Jones era is on. But still like the Dolphins. Let's go. Brian Flores going against his protege. Or rather, I guess the reverse of that, right? A protege of New England. And then closing it out, 4 o'clock America's Game of the Week. Packers -4. I like that. Just the Saints have downgraded. Jameis Winston winning the job as a 5-year viewer. I guess 5.5 or 6 years with the 1 year of the Saints. It's a 5-year Jameis Winston experience survivor. It's a downgrade from, a Hall of Fame quarterback of Drew Brees, but the potential's there to make some noise. Thus, why I like the over in that game. But also, Aaron Rodgers is back. Packers are just going to be too good. Really, the only team that I see giving the Bucs a run for their money, other than the Rams, if they come to play Matt Stafford. So, Washington +1, Jacksonville -3. Miami +3. That's the one that's going to get me. And then Green Bay -4. We hit all 4 of those. We're paying out $126.48 off of $10. 10 units, $126.48. I like it. See if we can hit one early on. I really like that. You guys remember the 5 last year? Of course, a little competition from our old show, retired show now. Balls, Brews, and Bros. But we're going to keep it alive and see how we do. Going 47-33 last year. 47-33 on the 5 picks. Of course, that's all determined randomly by the Wheel of Fortune. And then the wheel also tells us if we're going to do a spread or a money line pick. So here are the 5 games. Of course, a few of those being on the don't touch list. We're taking Buffalo on the spread 6.5. Miami ended up being a money line pick. I'm going to take them to win straight up. The Washington +1 pick is there because they were on the spread. San Francisco lucking out here. San Francisco at Detroit. It was able to take San Francisco on the money line. And then, of course, the Rams money line against the Bears. Kind of like this one. I might have to throw this one officially into the betting circle. I usually just do this for stats and for pick records and whatnot. But, man, this might be a good ticket. I might have to report back to see how this actually does in the real world. See if maybe we can get a little bit of a payout here. Then, of course, the big tease. Moose's Monster Teaser. I love teasers. Get your heart racing. It give you a little bit of a chance. Right now, just doing a 6-point purchase across the board. Got a 7-way teaser. 7-way parlay teaser where we bought some points. So Packers, of course, from 4.5 going up to +1.5. Got the Washington football team +7. Rams -1.5. So hopefully just a win for the Rams. Dolphins go to +9. So I feel a little bit more confident there. Chiefs just got to win. Giants +9, it looks. and 49ers basically just have to win at -1.5. All that 7-way, 10 units get you 90. 10 units get you 90. So $10 went in, hopefully to win 90 for your 7-way teaser with a 6-point purchase on all the legs. So there you have it. Those are our picks for week 1 of the NFL season. Now, I want to work in some prop bets this year and even get some sophisticated bets going. Got to get some data first before we go crazy and do some first half betting and total yards and rushing yards and whatnot. That's all coming. Let's do that maybe second quarter and beyond. We'll probably do a proposition bet segment. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. Week 1 picks are out for the Sports Moose here on $10 Sports Risky Business. Once again, don't forget to subscribe down below. Make sure to contact us via your favorite social media platform. We're available and ready to chat with you. Make sure to like and subscribe and reach out on Twitter. I'm excited to be live tweeting during not only the Bucs game, but of course the return of NFL Red Zone, and sitting on a couch for most of Sunday, enjoying life and enjoying that the NFL is back. And we'll see you next time here on $10 Sports Risky Business. Take care.